We're here to try to bring back some level of normalcy, and that word is rather unique being said today. You know, we're here to solve problems for any damage to a building and any misfortune that occurs, water damage, tree damage, cars through buildings, fires. So I started as a call firefighter in the town of Norwell in 1976, fresh out of high school. I had been working at a convenience store across the street from the firehouse, and they were looking for on-call personnel. They asked me if I'd be interested. I had no idea what an on-call, even I had a general idea what a firefighter did, but I didn't know how extensive they did, what they did. So I said I would and got involved, went over. Back then you got voted on to the companies. You didn't get hired, you got voted on, and then the fire chief approved your participation. So that started it, and I continued, through college, on call. I obtained my EMT. Back then, that was a big deal. It was the next year. And then I went full-time in 1980 and stayed from 1980 to 2020. One thing I like about firefighting, it's one of the few jobs that you wake up in the morning, you have absolutely no idea what's going to happen, and you provide service to everybody, all walks of lives, regardless of whether you'd have coffee or a soda with these folks. You're providing a level of care, and I think that's, to me, that's very fulfilling. That's very important. I feel that unlike others that trying to, and I don't want to criticize anybody else because everybody has their own motivation, but I think 1-800-BOARD-UP comes to I feel very strongly that there's nothing, Andy Reardon's not going to gain anything other than the satisfaction of I've done something nice for somebody else by having been there. And again, I fault no one for trying to make a living and pay their mortgage, but I think that the motivation behind it is at least working with Rebuildex and the high quality of work that Rebuildex is known for. My first fire, I had absolutely no idea. I went out there, I was a babe in the woods, and I haven't been a babe in the woods in a long time. And I'm out there and I'm trying to talk to the individual. The fire chief at the scene was very kind. He introduced me. We agreed that we could board up the property. And the homeowner turned to me and said, "Oh, you represent a 5-star company according to the Better Business Bureau." And I went, "Absolutely." And that just made me feel good that I wasn't trying to sell him, snake oil. That we are a good company, or I'm backed by a good company who's there to do good things. And again, board up that victims assistance piece is the thing that drives me. I did have a case where the individual the homeowner was one individual owned the home, nobody else, no other family that we could identify, and the fire chief, when I arrived, was really perplexed in the fact that the fire had gone out. He was very satisfied with that side of the operation, but he didn't want to leave the home wide open. I asked him, I said, Chief, do we know about the homeowner? Do we know anything about his insurance? And the answer was, I don't. The gentleman's in the hospital. We really don't know. And I said, okay. I got authorization from the company, and we went forward and we boarded the building up. We made it safe so that when the individual came out of the hospital or whatever was going to occur subsequent to the fire, the building was going to be protected. And again, hats off to the thought process of not only 1-800-BOARD-UP, but also to Rebuildex, that's what we do. We don't, You know, certainly if we can get somebody to pay for it, we want that. But if we can't get somebody to pay for it, oh well, we're just going to move forward and do the right thing. Yeah, I think it's important for people to understand that, you know, for especially the fire service and the community, to understand that we're here. That's all we do. You know, our function is to help and to reduce the collateral damages that occur subsequent to a fire, or, you know, a car strike through a building, or a tree fall, or whatever it may happen. You know, we're going to come in and we're going to try to make it stop and head in the direction of making it better than it is and somewhat back to normal. By calling 1-800-BOARD-UP, you're simply saying, we're not abandoning the resident, we're turning it over to, number one, a company that is built on taking care of the victims, and number two, a company that has a reputation of success, a reputation of doing a good job. We're not some fly-by-night, you know, hey, I went out and bought myself a pickup truck and a hammer, and here I am. No, our reputation is clear that we're an outstanding organization. 1-800-BOARD-UP. Think about the dog.